You're probably not as pumped as I am for these coming weeks in May. Coming up in 3 weeks, Wolfenstein: The New Order is gonna be coming out, and the week after that, the new Watch Dogs is gonna be coming out. And I bet a lot of people didn't know that or really, remember that. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about mainly Wolfenstein and how it mostly invented the gaming industry, or the first-person shooter portion of the gaming industry. Because a lot of people nowadays have their Call of Duties, their Battlefields, and they never look back on the classical games that made the shooter industry of the gaming industry what it is today, which was Duke Nukem, Doom, Wolfenstein, and Shadow Warrior, all made on the DOS system. Nobody knows what the DOS system is. It was the original. It was basically like the Commodore 64 almost. It ran off of floppy disks and also sometimes CDs. This system was basically mostly used for the 4 games I just mentioned, along with other games like I think Hexen is one of them. But anyways, other games that basically ran off the DOS engine. Now, what is Wolfenstein? I bet people are wondering. Like all the gamers out there that were born at the end of the 90s, like myself. I wasn't really born in 97, 96, the golden years of the 90s. I was born at the end, sadly, but I do live the 80s and the 90s in my own way. There's probably people out there now that are like, what the fuck's Wolfenstein? What the fuck's Doom? What the fuck's Duke Nukem? Well, for everybody that's known this, is that Doom is getting another sequel, and it has been remastered in the past for Doom 3. Then recently Shadow Warrior got remade by an indie developer, and they did a really good job of making Shadow Warrior look great, and they tried to remake Duke Nukem. Now, they're starting to do this with Wolfenstein, and I really am pumped with who is working on it. And that is Bethesda Softwares, the creators of Skyrim and Fallout. Now, they do a lot of good work, and sometimes their work's a little cliche, but the developers are Machine Games, a development company I've never heard of before. They've been kind of obscure. This is the only real big title they're working on. Now, the reason why a lot of people are saying that the game's going to be kind of shitty is because it doesn't have multiplayer or co-op. I don't really mind that, because originally it didn't need multiplayer or co-op to be a good game. It was a good game overall. And if you want to play the original, go on Wolfenstein.com and actually play the original game on your PC. But how did this game actually invent the first-person shooter genre is what you're trying to wonder. Reason why, simple story, tongue-in-cheek moment. You play as American Scouter B.J. Blazkowicz. Well, William J. B.J. Blazkowicz, who was on a scouting mission for the U.S. Army. He is soon captured and put in a dungeon by Hitler himself, Ein Führer. After that, he drastically kills a Nazi and urgently grabs his firearm, a Luger, of course, a handgun, kind of generic, and basically you go through the entire castle, slaughtering Nazis, dogs, mech-like things, and then take down the Führer himself. Basically, the most simple story I've ever heard in my life. And the reason why I made it so idolized and kind of hate it is because you're going through halls of Nazi propaganda and gunning down Germans with pixelized blue eyes and blonde hair. So, yeah, kind of racy almost. But this is actually kind of what invented what we have now is Call of Duty. Thought I heard something. But anyways, the reason why this invented the games like Call of Duty is because in the older versions of Call of Duty, where it focused mostly on the old war aspects, there was always Nazis or the Chinese to gun down. The Nazis are the most entertaining to kill, especially now that they're zombies in the games. But what people don't really recognize is that what created the games? Most people nowadays just believe, oh, Call of Duty came around because it was invented. It would invented first-person shooters. No, not really at all. Wolfenstein's what actually made a turning point in the gaming industry because it had the most idolized sound effects and it was entertaining as all hell before it died out. Later on in the year 2000, they tried to bring another Wolfenstein called Return to Castle Wolfenstein. They did do a good job, and sadly, I never got to play the game because I was at a really young age, and my dad didn't want me to play violent video games. And from what I've seen, it does seem a lot more interesting. It seemed like it kept the good volume and rhythm of the original Wolfenstein games. Later on, in 2009, 2007, somewhere in between those lines, another Wolfenstein came out called just Wolfenstein. I actually got to play this one, and I had some fun. It was the first time I was actually introduced to Wolfenstein, and I had some fun with it. I didn't find it too entertaining. After that, I did research on what Wolfenstein was. It is basically the key holder that started the first-person shooter genre. And I couldn't believe it. But the reason why a lot of people didn't like Wolfenstein, the newer one, the remade one that I was talking about for a few seconds, is because it didn't have any of the classical elements. It did not have... Sorry, my hair again's messed up. I don't care. So, yeah. But the reason why I didn't like it is because there were a lot of the newer age things. Weapon attachments and upgrades. Some melee attacks. Regenerating health. Really stupid plot line that's so over-exaggerated where it doesn't need to be over-exaggerated. And that's what a lot of the veterans of the game didn't really notice. Well, that's what they noticed and didn't like about it. And I can understand from their point of view, but now, what's with the new order coming out? What makes it so special? Is because they're actually revamping it. Now, games nowadays, they're starting to remake certain games like Mirror's Edge. They're remaking Mirror's Edge for the next-gen consoles. And so they want to do that with Wolfenstein. But now you're playing as BJ Blazkowicz, who actually looks like himself instead of looking like a journalist, is basically, here's the story. After about 14 to 15 years of being in a stasis-like slumber or coma, the world is taken over by the Nazis. They are in control. They own the Capitol building. They went to the moon. They own everything. You can't even turn a corner without seeing Nazi propaganda. Now BJ Blazkowicz has awoken, and his one sole purpose is kill Nazis and bring America back. Best thing you can ever think of as an American dream type game. And that's what I'm like, yeah, America! That's what I see. But people are saying, this game's going to be total shit because it doesn't have multiplayer. Oh my god, it's not going to have that. It's because people nowadays are just, basically spoon-fed the same stuff over and over again, which is regenerating health, weapon attachments, and stupid little trick shots and shit. And a game doesn't need multiplayer to be good. I think this game's going to be absolutely amazing. And it even gives you access to Doom 4, the Doom 4 beta if you pre-order it. And I won't be getting it, sadly. But for those that do play it, send me some details and some good old-fashioned gameplay videos because I cannot wait to get Doom 4 if it's on the current-gen consoles. But what is everybody so complaining about? It's because they're spoon-fed the same stuff over and over again, regenerating health and all the other stupid stuff. But now, this game is going back to its roots. Basically, you are going to get... Your health's going to regenerate, but only by half. You need to pick up armor, helmets, health packs, find hidden objects, and hidden weapons in order to survive. How an old game is supposed to be played, a la Total Biscuit. The game is supposed to be about survival and being intelligent. Now, of course, the game does have a lot of gore, which I personally like. Because, with most guns nowadays in games, it feels like you're firing a pea shooter almost. It doesn't feel like it has any, oomph to it. With these guns, it feels like you're firing fists out of them. Or something this size out of it. Like, filled with, water. But you gotta understand, from my perspective, this game looks amazing. What is, your current thoughts about the new Wolfenstein? Are you pumped for it? Do you really want to play it? I want to play it to the grand extent. Even though it doesn't have multiplayer, I wish it would be multiplayer. It might just ruin the game in some way. But I'm really pumped because it's going to have even though the story is kind of stupid, it's going to have a lot of good gameplay moments. It's going to have spectacular weapons. It's going to have a ton of cool perks you can unlock by just doing certain actions. And there's going to be takedowns, and there's going to be so much to examine. Believe me, this game is going to be worth the $60 price. And, I'm so ready for this game, and it's coming out within 2 to 3 weeks. I actually have a date set on my phone, and it comes out, let me check to be sure, because it comes out on the 20th of May. We have exactly, let's see, today's Friday the 2nd, so 1, 2, 3. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, we'll have Wolfenstein The New Order on Tuesday of May 20th. So please, keep your eyes open for that game. But right now, the next video I'm about to do, before I have to go, because I need to start packing up soon for the weekend, I'm going to be talking about Watch Dogs. So please, stay tuned for that. Thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.